At the tail end of World War II, American engineers sought to build the ultimate piston-engine fighter, an aircraft that would combine breakneck speed and unparalleled agility. Though it arrived too late to take to the skies in combat, the reputation of this purpose-built fighter was cemented by its performance, adaptability, and its enduring legacy as both a military and civilian aviation icon. This is the story of a plane that defied the limits of what was possible, leaving an incredible yet sadly forgettable story in aviation history. The Pacific Theater of World War II was a proving ground for aerial combat innovation. Early in the war, Japanese Mitsubishi A6M-0 fighters dominated the skies with their exceptional maneuverability and climb rate, leaving Allied pilots scrambling to keep up. By 1943, the tide was turning. American companies Grumman and Vought introduced their new fighters, the F8F Hellcat and the F4U Corsair, and they took to the skies over the Pacific in a feeding frenzy. Even with the sheer advantage that was acquired in the Pacific Theater, the US Navy still wasn't satisfied. They envisioned a new generation of fighter aircraft, one that could outmaneuver, outclimb, and outgun any adversary it faced. In 1943, the Navy approached Grumman Aircraft Engineering Corporation, a trusted partner known as Iron Works, for its robust and reliable aircraft, with a challenge: build a fighter that would outperform every other piston-engine aircraft in the sky. Grumman's engineers, led by the legendary Leroy Grumman, embraced the challenge with gusto, drawing on their experience with the rugged Hellcat and taking inspiration from enemy aircraft like the German Focke-Wulf FW-190. They set out to build a plane that prioritized raw performance. Every ounce of weight was scrutinized, and every design decision was made to maximize speed, agility, and climb rate. In the heart of the F8F Bearcat was the Pratt & Whitney R2800 18-cylinder radial engine pushing 2,250 horsepower on takeoff. This engine, which had already proven its profound characteristics in the Hellcat and the Corsair, gave the Bearcat immense power and ability to climb faster than any other fighter in the Navy's arsenal. To complement this powertrain, the engineers designed an airframe that was smaller, lighter, and more streamlined than its predecessors. The Bearcat was nearly 20% lighter than the Hellcat, with a wingspan of 35 feet and a total length of 28 feet. Its compact size gave it an incredible power-to-weight ratio, allowing it to accelerate and climb like a rocket. The wings were clipped and reinforced for high-speed maneuverability, and were fitted with innovative folding wingtips to maximize storage space on aircraft carriers. The cockpit was positioned for excellent visibility, giving pilots an edge in dogfights. And the controls were designed for their precision and responsiveness. All of the factors that went into the F8F Bearcat made it a ferocious and elegant dogfighter. If you're enjoying this episode of Forgotten History, be sure to like and comment. And if you don't want to be forgotten when a new episode releases, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. All of these actions are appreciated by me. Now, let's continue on our flight with the Grumman F8F Bearcat. The prototype XF8F-1 took to the skies for the first time on August 21st, 1944. Test pilots were blown away by its performance. The Bearcat could reach a top speed of 421 miles per hour and climbed to 10,000 feet in just 94 seconds. A fully loaded Boeing 737-800 takes 4 minutes to reach 10,000 feet. The Bearcat could execute turns with astonishing agility. In mock dogfights, it outperformed the Hellcat and the Corsair, both which were considered top-tier fighters at the time. Pilots loved the Bearcat's responsiveness. The controls were so precise that pilots described the plane as an extension of their own body. The Bearcat also had a remarkable takeoff performance, requiring just 115 feet of runway to get airborne, which was ideal for carrier operations. Armed with 450 caliber M2 Browning machine guns, the Bearcat packed a lethal punch. It could also carry a variety of ordnance, including bombs and rockets, making it a versatile machine for ground attack missions. By early 1945, the Bearcat was entering production, and the first models were delivered to the Navy squadrons in February. Pilots were eager to take this hot rod of the skies into combat. They were convinced it could dominate against Japanese fighters and even take on Germany's advanced Focke-Wulf FW-190D or the Messerschmitt Bf-109K if sent to Europe. Sadly, for the F8F Bearcat story, history intervened. By August 1945, the war had ended with the dropping of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, bringing Japan to its knees. The Bearcat, poised to become the deadliest fighter in the Pacific theater, never saw action. Despite this turn of events, the Bearcat became a favorite of post-war Navy and Marine Corps squadrons. Its speed and agility made it ideal for intercept missions, while its unforgiving handling characteristics sharpened skills of the next generation of Navy pilots. Post-war, the F8F became a major U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps fighter, equipping 24 fighter squadrons in the Navy and smaller numbers in the Marines. The Bearcat is often mentioned as one of the best handling piston-engine fighters ever built. Its performance was sufficient to outperform some early jets. Its capability for aerobatic performance is illustrated by the selection as the second demonstration aircraft for the Navy's elite Blue Angels in 1946, replacing the Grumman F6F Hellcat. The Blue Angels flew the Bearcat until the team was temporarily disbanded in 1950 during the Korean War. the Bearcat's military career was short-lived, as the arrival of jet-powered fighters rendered the piston-engine aircraft obsolete. By the early 1950s, the Bearcat was phased out of frontline service, replaced by the sleek new fighter jet, the Grumman F8F Panther. Though the Bearcat story was far from finished, many surplus aircraft found their way into civilian hands where they were lovingly restored and modified for air racing. In the 1960s and 70s, the Bearcat dominated the Reno air races, cementing its reputation as one of the fastest piston-engine aircraft ever built. The infamous racing Bearcat named Rare Bear pushed the limits of performance even further. Equipped with a modified engine and aerodynamic enhancements, Rare Bear set a piston engine speed record of over 528 miles per hour and a climb rate record that stayed for decades. It became a symbol of the Bearcat's enduring potential and passion of those who loved it. Today, the Grumman F8F Bearcat is celebrated as one of the finest piston-engine fighters ever built. Its sleek design, raw power, and unmatched agility make it a favorite among aviation enthusiasts, and its roar continues to thrill crowds at airshows around the world. The Bearcat represents the culmination of an era, a time when engineers pushed piston engine technology to its absolute limits. It was the last great propeller-driven fighter, a machine that bridged the gap between the past and the future. Though it arrived too late for the war it was built to fight in, it still left a defiant mark in aviation history. It's a reminder of what human ingenuity can achieve when unrestrained by convention. A roaring, clawing beast that conquered the skies and captured our imaginations. The Grumman F8F Bearcat wasn't just a plane. It was a masterpiece, an icon, and history not worthy of forgetting. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Forgotten History, learning the major push of the last piston-engine naval fighter that wasn't enough to keep up with the pace of streamlined jet fighters, and the change in records in the civil side of aviation. If you have an aircraft that you think has a forgotten history, drop it down in the comments, and while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and leave a like. Till next time, never forget your history. See y'all in the next flight.